than I think anyone ever grasps. A woman who and even though this might make her trouble, literally sacrificed for me and my brother. And that's an inside joke. But outside of that joke, it's true. She gave everything that we would have not just what we needed, but oftentimes what my brother and me, as bratty as we were as little kids, wanted. Even whenever we would scream and get in trouble for silly stuff, she would still give us. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. Growing up, just like any mother and daughter, we may not have always seen eye to eye. I was not the friendly, loving person and child that most people know me as today. But still, she loved me in spite of that. Whenever I could come home and raise my voice at her, say things that I shouldn't say, she still wrapped her arms around me and loved me. But she still showed me what it meant to be at church every Sunday. Every time the doors were open, I was here, even if I didn't want to be as a little kid. I was still here. And in my teenage years, that not wanting to be turned into a love for God that I would have never had without my dad and my mom. I would have never had without them constantly there, showing me the way, and not just showing me, but living it out in front of me every day. Mama, I can honestly tell you, I would not be the woman I am today without you. I would not know what it means to be a woman of God. Yes, we fall, we make mistakes. Yes, we still, at times, have our disagreements. But I would not be who I am today if it wasn't for you. If it wasn't for the encouragement that you gave. The times that you held me whenever I was so sick that I couldn't lift up my head. The times that you sat there and literally cried beside me, not knowing what the next week held. Not knowing if I would end up in the hospital, not knowing what life would be like whenever I moved 12 hours away, driving. All of the uncertainties that came with moving that far away. And yet you supported me in going and following what God had called me to do. As hard as that is, and as many times I know you messed with Daddy about him crying and breaking down whenever he walked in my room, but I know you good enough to know that he wasn't the only one crying whenever I left. He wasn't the only one that wondered why I had to move so far away. And yet, in the midst of all of that, in the midst of the sickness and having to deal with that while going to school, having you and Dad, whenever everyone at school even thought that I wouldn't go back to finish, you and Dad supported me, you and Dad pushed me to let me know that the most important thing in my life was to follow the call that God had in my life. And I can't tell you how much that means. I can't tell you how much it means to know that in spite of my shortcomings, in spite of what I've done wrong at times in my life, and the list could go endless of the times that I've fallen short, and yet you and Dad have stood beside me. You and Dad have loved me and encouraged me, and I can't tell you how thankful I am for that. There's no words. to tell you how thankful I am that you pray over me, you encourage me, you love me. And even whenever I may mess up preaching or may mess up doing something in ministry, you're still there and you're still my biggest fan. And I love you more than you will ever know. Because there's no amount of words and no action that could ever tell you how much I really do love you.